What should you do if you ever get arrested? Alright, let's hope you never end up in this situation. But if you do, you need to know what to do. There's no doubt that getting arrested is scary. What you do in those first few moments can literally decide your future. So today, I'm breaking down exactly what to do if you ever get arrested, your rights, your best moves, and what not to do. Trust me, this is something everyone should know. Number one, stay calm and don't resist. First things first, stay calm. Do not resist the police. Do not argue with them. Do not try to run away. Those are all additional crimes you could end up being charged with. Doing any of those things will only make matters worse for yourself. And resisting arrest can turn a small crime or ordeal into something significant and serious. Even if you think the arrest is unfair, this is not the time to fight your case. Keep your hands visible, follow any instructions the officer gives you, and remember, you'll have your chance to fight later in court. You're not going to win on side of the road or in a parking lot or even if they're at your front door to arrest you. Resisting could only result in additional charges. So the safe thing to do, the best thing to do, the thing as a lawyer I would recommend you do is comply and reach out to a lawyer as soon as possible. The second thing you should do is say as little as possible. I've said this on dozens of videos that you have a Fifth Amendment right to remain silent. This is the time to do it. If you are arrested, you need to remain silent and request a lawyer. Please listen closely to everything the police say. And one of the things they tell people that seems to fly over people's head is that everything you say can and will be used against you. So the less you say, the better. If the officer asks, "Do you know why you're being arrested?" Don't start explaining. Even innocent sounding answers can be twisted. Instead, say something like this: "I'm invoking my right to remain silent, and I'd like to speak to my attorney." That's all you need. There's no need to say anything further. You're not being rude, you're just protecting yourself. Let the lawyer, whoever he or she ends up being, do the talking for you. Now, I want to make something perfectly clear. If the police ask for your name, you need to give it to them. You're required by law to do it, especially here in Louisiana. There may be some states where that's not the case. But if you are in Louisiana and the police ask you for your name, you're required to give it to them. If you're in a vehicle and they pull you over and they ask for your driver's license, registration, proof of insurance, you're required to turn over those things as well. If they go further and say, "Where are you coming from? Where are you going? What did you do last night? Did you have anything to drink?" You're not required to answer any of those questions. Name, registration, proof of insurance, lawyer. Ask for a lawyer. Outside of that, nothing else. Number 3, please do not consent to a search. Here's a little known fact. You have the right to refuse a search. If an officer asks, "Do you mind if we take a look in your car, in your bag, in your pockets?" The answer should be, "No, I do not consent to a search." There is a limited search that law enforcement officers are allowed to exercise. For officer safety, they are allowed to pat you down, but that doesn't give them authorization to search your glove box, search your trunk, search your center console. They can pat you down for officer safety. So if you've been removed from the vehicle, there's no grounds for them to search your vehicle absent a warrant or your consent or some other legal cause, which usually there is none. They need a warrant. They need a warrant. Don't consent to a search. The reason why you do not want to consent to a search is quite simple. If the police search your vehicle without your consent and without valid legal justification for the search, your lawyer can file what's called a motion to suppress. And in this motion, he can request that all evidence seized due to this illegal search and seizure should be suppressed as fruit of the poisonous tree. That is a real legal term, fruit of the poisonous tree. If your constitutional rights against unreasonable searches and seizures are violated, anything that's found, anything, can be suppressed by a judge as fruits of the poisonous tree. Now, what that means is if evidence is suppressed, if your case goes to trial, they don't get to use it. So please remember, do not consent to a search. You have a right to say no. The fourth thing you should do, and you should do this politely because for whatever reason, this leads to a lot of disagreements and arguments on the side of the road. If you're being arrested, it's perfectly fine and within your right to ask the officer, what am I being arrested for? What am I being charged with? Now, the officer might not tell you immediately. A lot of times they'll say, I'm going to tell you in a minute. Let me put you in my car. Let me put these cuffs on you. Look, you don't have the right to demand they tell you before they cuff you or put up a fight on the side of the road. Please don't do that. Let them cuff you, comply, but be persistent. Please tell me, sir, ma'am, what am I being arrested for? If the police simply refuses to answer your question, because I've seen that happen, they refuse to tell you why you're being arrested, just remain silent. Remember, you have that Fifth Amendment right to remain silent, and that is precisely what you should do, and wait on a lawyer. At some point, even if it's not immediate, even if it's not as quick as you would like to know, they are going to tell you what you're being arrested for. Just remain calm and let the situation play itself out. Reach out to a lawyer at the first opportunity you get. Number 5, do not agree to any kind of deal. Do not sign any kind of documents without a lawyer present. This is a big one, folks. The police or the prosecutor might offer you a deal. If you sign this, we'll let you go. Do not, I repeat, do not sign anything. Even if they say it'll make things easier, get a lawyer first. Look, all sorts of things can be thrown into legal documents. And you might think you're agreeing to one thing, but the drafter, whoever drafts it up, may draft it in a way that means something totally different. And without a lawyer to parse through that document for you or that plea deal or an agreement, you could really be setting yourself up for a much worse situation, a much worse outcome than you should have to deal with or have to face. So protect yourself. Always talk to a lawyer first before making any decisions, before giving any statements, before making any confessions. Just invoke your Fifth Amendment right to remain silent. It's the safest thing you can do. As I was thinking about this topic, I came up with an acronym to help everyone remember the important tips in this video on what to do if you ever get arrested. And the acronym is SAFER, S-A-F-E-R. The S is for stay calm and silent. Don't resist, and invoke your right to remain silent until your lawyer is present. Next, we have A. The A is for ask what the charges are. It's perfectly fine and within your right to say, sir, ma'am, what am I being charged with? F, forbid searches. Do not consent to a search. If they're going to search your person or your vehicle, they need probable cause. If you consent, that's sufficient under the Constitution. Your consent, even if they technically don't have a legitimate grounds to search your vehicle or your property, if you consent, that gives them authority to do so. So remember, the F is for forbid searches. Do not consent to a search. If the officers decide to search your vehicle anyway, remember the S. Stay calm and silent. Let your lawyer deal with the violation of your constitutional rights at a later date. And the E is for engage a lawyer. Do not sign anything. Do not take a plea deal. Do not make any statements to law enforcement without having a lawyer present with you. And finally, we have R, refrain from resistance. Don't try to argue with the police. That's a crime. Don't try to physically struggle with the police. That's a crime. Don't try to run away from the police. That is also a crime. And depending on the extent of your physical fight with the officers or the way in which you try to flee or run away, those offenses have misdemeanor and felony grades. So the safest thing you can do is simply don't resist. Just comply. Even if they get rough with you, comply, and your lawyer will deal with them on a later date. Remember that acronym, SAFER, and what it stands for. If any of you have ever been in a situation like this or know someone who has, drop a comment below and share your experience if you're comfortable doing so. If you or a loved one ever needs legal help, you can book a free call with me, 225-383-3800. You can DM me on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, TikTok. The name I go by is either going to be Great Elephant Law or my full name, Christopher Washington. We're here for anybody that needs us. If it's you, a family member, or a friend, let us know. We handle personal injury cases and we handle criminal defense cases. That's all I have today, people. Stay safe, stay smart, and I'll see you in the next video.